audience. I am EagleNick. Now, on my way back home this morning, I stopped by Al Rollins Park where I did a few live streams on the public Wi-Fi. And I have noticed this morning that they have cut off the public access to the Wi-Fi at Al Rollins Park the same way they cut off the public access to the Wi-Fi at Lakeshore Park. EagleNick had did a few live streams at Al Rollins Park. I had one live stream that got 32,000 views. Now, when I stopped in on the way back from eating breakfast at Providence Ministries, I noticed that the city of Dalton, the Dalton Parks and Recreation Center, has cut off the public access to the Wi-Fi at Al Rollins Park. Once again, they are denying EagleNick access to the public Wi-Fi at Al Rollins Park, the same as they cut off the Wi-Fi at the Lakeshore Park. Good morning to everyone. EagleNick audits. EagleNick is preparing for his arraignment on July the 9th at 9 a.m. in the Whitfield County Superior Court for a Class B misdemeanor charge of criminal trespass, damage of $500 or less. Now they choose to prosecute EagleNick over a misdemeanor charge of criminal trespass, damage of $500 or less in the Superior Court, instead of taking the case to the lower courts, which is normal. It is either normally tried in the probate court or the magistrate court. How do they prosecute criminal trespass, damage of $500 or less where you live? What state? What city? Do they prosecute it in the highest court, the Superior Court, the probate court, or the magistrate court? This is not normal that they prosecute criminal trespass, damage of $500 or less in Superior Court, much less prosecute criminal trespass, damage of $500 or less without there ever being any damage, and the person be on public property exercising their constitutional rights under the First Amendment, all 5 tenets. I will be going in front of Judge Bert Poston on July the 9th at 9 a.m. for my arraignment. I would really appreciate all the support that I could get from my subscribers. EagleNick has not committed any crimes. They never obtained my name legally to get a trespass warrant, and to start with, they got my name off my open records request that I did at City Hall and from my YouTube channel. I thought for a minute there that said Akon. You must be, because you keep asking that same question. I'd say you're the same troll that asked that question that got blocked from my channel. But you won't be blocked this time. You can go ahead and say stupid shit, because it just shows how stupid you are. No, EagleNick is not gay. EagleNick is only standing up for his rights under the United States Constitution. EagleNick is only informing his subscribers and informing the public in general that we have rights. EagleNick I don't know who Harambe is. I don't know who you're talking about there. But EagleNick has an arraignment date of July the 9th at 9 a.m. in the Superior Court of Whitfield County in front of Judge Burt Poston. Now, EagleNick is praying that the court will uphold my constitutional rights and will not allow my constitutional rights to be violated any further. The First Amendment of the United States gives you, me, and every citizen of the United States the right to freedom of the press, free speech, freedom of religion, freedom to assemble, and the freedom to redress our government with our grievances. That is exactly what EagleNick was doing in the 2-minute and 47-second long video that he shot at the United States Post Office, that they say I committed criminal trespass on public property, criminal trespass damage of $500 or less, when EagleNick did not do any damage. EagleNick only exercised his right to record. EagleNick did call out the postmaster and say that I would be holding them accountable. Now, EagleNick was not lying when he said that, and EagleNick still intends to hold Postmaster Constance Long accountable. EagleNick is waiting on the paperwork from his state senator, John Ossoff, that authorizes them to conduct an investigation about why Postmaster Constance Long is holding up my mail. I have been waiting on a Cash App card for coming up on 70 days that it is shipped, if it's not actually been 70 days. I ordered a Cash App card for somebody else. It only took 5 days from the day it said it shipped for them to receive it. I had ordered another Cash App card after that one sent to a different address, and I received it within 7 days from when it said it was shipped. Now, the Cash App card that I ordered coming to my address. Good morning there. It's glad to see you. I've been waiting for nearly, and yet Postmaster Constance Long is violating federal law by tampering with the mail and denying me my rights, privileges, and services that is afforded to every American citizen. I did not order a Cash App card for someone else. I did not say that. I said I ordered it and had it sent to a different address. It is still my Cash App card, but if I had sent it to my regular address, it would have been just like the other one that I've been waiting 70 days on. I would have never received it. Now, I think the postmaster has better sense than to try to stop my consent form coming from the state senator, John Ossoff, to allow them to investigate the post office in downtown Dalton, Georgia, to investigate Postmaster Constance Long. I ordered another card. That's what I said. I had it sent to a different address, still in my name. It came 7 days from when it said it shipped. I received it. But my first Cash App card, it has been 70 days, and I still have not received it. No, I am not paranoid. The adventures of Papa, whoever the hell you are, Stick, Sick, Slick, whatever your name is. EagleNick is not paranoid. EagleNick is not talking about a conspiracy. EagleNick is talking about fact, something that actually happened, something that EagleNick is going through personally. Congress has been investigating the United States Post Office since December of last year because they are stealing people's checks. They are stealing people's packages, not to mention, I don't believe that is any of your business how many Cash App cards I need. My second Cash App card is for my YouTube channel, EagleNick Audits. That is my Cash App. The same as it is on this channel. It is exactly the same. The $sign in front of it. What I'm trying to get at, that it is not right because the postmaster had her feelings hurt because they acted like jackasses and complete fools and called the police on me to try to have me run off when I did my first audit of the United States Post Office. And the Dalton City Police Department went in there and told her basically that there was nothing that they could do. You know, he knowed Corporal Shoop or Shope, however his name is pronounced. He knew about Poster 7, which states that taking photographs and recording is allowed in entrances, foyers, corridors, lobbies, and auditoriums that are used for public meetings. They never have public meetings in an entrance, corridor, or lobby. Foyer, corridor, or lobby. They only have public meetings in auditoriums. Now, it states that you have to have permission from the postmaster to film in other areas. That would be like behind the counter where they're at, actually going by behind there, or in the back where they sort the mail, or back in the back of the fence where their vehicles is parked. Anything that I can see, I can record. If there is anything that is private, it is on them to keep it private and keep it out of public view. You know, that is their job. It is not my job. It is my job to audit, to record, to show how they perform their duty. Now, if they are exposing people's personal information, that shows that they are not doing a very good job. Would you not agree with that? But I have an arraignment date for July the 9th at 9 a.m. in the Superior Court of Whitfield County in front of Judge Burt Poston. And Judge Poston, I am praying that you will uphold my constitutional rights, that you will not allow them to continue to violate my rights. I think it is a travesty of the American justice system to begin with, to be holding court over a misdemeanor criminal trespass, damage of $500 or less in Superior Court instead of in the lower courts to where it would normally be, either the magistrate or the probate court. Especially when I said, like I said, that I did not do any damage. All I did was exercise my First Amendment right, freedom of the press. I exercised my right to freedom to assemble. I exercised my right to redress my government official, which was the postmaster, Constance Long, when I said that I would hold them accountable. Like I've said before, EagleNick does not sugarcoat shit. I do not see it. I do not beg. I do not roll over. And I do not play dead. Now, I did a live stream a couple of days ago down at Al Rollins Park that got 32,000 views. Now, on my way back from Providence Ministries this morning eating breakfast, I stopped in at Al Rollins Park, was going to do this live stream down there on the public Wi-Fi, and they had that public access cut off. I could not get access to the public Wi-Fi. All the other Wi-Fi connections, the COD, which is the City of Dalton, LAN, LAN, the City of Dalton, COD, POS, all of their connections that are secure was all still there and available. But the public access to the Wi-Fi has been cut off. Just like they cut it off over at Lakeshore Park, the Ken White, I think it was called, indoor practice facility, the soccer field around the track with a track around it where the Dalton State College soccer team plays and practices. You know, they've been violating my rights for so long and think that they can continue to get away with it. But like I said, I'm waiting on paperwork from my state senator, John Ossoff. And sir, I'm still waiting on that paperwork that will allow them to investigate the United States Post Office in downtown Dalton, Georgia, to find out what makes Postmaster Constance Long think that she has the right to stop my mail from being delivered like my Cash App. And I know I have had other mail coming and I have not received it. Of course, that arraignment date, they made sure it got to me. It only took 5 days from the date on the damn notice to the day I actually received it. But that's coming from right here in Dalton, Georgia. You know, it still takes 5 days to receive a piece of mail from right here where you live. And that is ridiculous. It shouldn't take no more than just a day or two. The United States Post Office is corrupt. They are stealing people's mail. They are stealing people's checks. They are stealing people's packages. If you don't believe me, Google it, and you'll see that Congress has been investigating them since December of last year. Our state senators in Georgia, Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff, has been on the post office's back trying to find out what's going on with the mail in Georgia. Now, Georgia has had problems with our mail delivery, checks being stolen, packages being stolen, and not being stolen out of the mailbox, being stolen by crooked mail carriers and people working in the post office who sorts and distributes the mail. This is not slander. This is not conspiracy. This is fact. I don't want to just move. I do not have to move. The Constitution grants me the same rights in the state of Georgia as it does in any state in the United States of America. We are a republic with a federation of states joined together by the United States Constitution. Our government is supposed to protect our rights and protect the Constitution. You're exactly right. There's zero government employee accountability. Just look what is going on right now with the Department of Homeland Security, Mayorkas. They don't need to just impeach him. He needs to be imprisoned for the way they have treated the southern border to let drugs and illegals from all over the world flood into this country. And Joe Biden made an executive order to where he caps it off that they allow 2,500 people a day to come into our country illegally still. That is over 900,000 people a year that they're saying, oh, it's okay, just come on in illegally. And that is on top of the millions upon millions that has flooded across our southern border since the smelling felon, creepy Joe Biden has been our president, our so-called president of the United States. The Democrat policies is destroying this country. If you don't believe me, just look at the state of California, which has been run by Democrats for so long that they let people sit on the sidewalk shooting up drugs. They let them defecate and urinate on the sidewalk. They get caught looting, committing crimes. They let them go without bail. Now, there was a homeless guy I know that I see up here at Providence Ministries who told me that he was arrested somewhere up in downtown Dalton, Georgia, for criminal trespass and some other misdemeanor charge, to where his bond totaled over $1,100. Now, they let him. I did not see your comments, maybe. I don't know. But I appreciate you. I've not been paying real close attention to the chat because I cannot actually chat back. I can only speak to you. But you made me lose my train of thought, which is not very hard to do with all the anxiety, stress that I'm going through. I see I have a lot of messages that are held for review. But as I was saying, there are so many illegals in the United States, you need to think about it. I'm not saying that all the illegals is from one country. They're from all over the world. Now, all the illegals in the United States buys gas, food, uses power. That causes the food to be higher. That causes the gas to be higher. That causes your power to be higher, because that causes the supply to be high and the demand, the supply to be low and the demand to be high. The higher the demand, the lower the supply. It is basic math. It is common sense. Yes, sir, they took our jobs, especially in the state of Georgia. See, when the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution was passed on January of 1865, which abolished slavery, the state of Georgia turned their nose up and flipped the federal government the bird and said, that's all right. Said, we will just enslave our whole state. Now, they made Georgia a at-will employment state and not a right-to-work state, saying that way people could quit when they want to and a company could let you go when they want to. But that opened the door for all these companies in Georgia to hire illegal immigrants, even though there is a federal verify law where they are supposed to verify that they are eligible to work in the United States, that they are not actually illegal. Yet they find a way around that. And then on top of that, Georgia has all these temporary employment agencies, especially these around Dalton, Georgia. Sigma is a fishing line I used to use. Dalton, Georgia has all these temporary employment agencies that they will send a person to, work you for 90 days, and by law, that's called a probationary period. After 90 days, they are supposed to hire you in and put you on the company payroll. But the companies around here, with the help of these temporary agencies, work people for 90 days, and then if they asked about the company about getting hired in, they do not let you come back to work, and they get them temporary agencies to send them new temps. But if you don't ask about getting hired in, they will let you work for them as long as you want. as long as you work through a temporary agency. Because, see, the temporary agency, they consider it that you are self-employed. But now I know what self-employment is. I've had that settled through the Georgia Department of Labor before, that to be self-employed, you tell them when you're coming in, you provide all your own tools and all that. Georgia violates people's rights. That is right. Jesus Christ. I believe in Jesus Christ, but guess what? Our rights granted to us under the United States Constitution were given to us by our Creator. They were not given to us by our government. The country was founded first, and then the Constitution, and then the government was formed to protect our rights and to protect the Constitution. Well, sir, I don't have a bone to smoke. I do not smoke. I smoke cigarettes, but I've sat here talking and it's went out. I do not have my lighter out here with me. But if you would like to go ahead and smoke your bone, that is your right. Georgia is one of the states where marijuana possession is still illegal, which is a violation of the citizens of the state of Georgia's constitutional rights, because the Constitution says that if several states pass laws that grants their citizens rights and privileges, that every citizen of every state in the United States is entitled to those same rights and privileges. And that says several states. Several is more than 2 or 3. To get a constitutional amendment into the Constitution, to be a part of the Constitution, to be a constitutional amendment, 2/3 of the states has to ratify, has to sign on to that amendment. There has only been one amendment to the Constitution that was completely repealed, completely did away with, and that was the 18th Amendment that started prohibition of alcohol. Now, the 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution gave women the right to vote. It took the 21st Amendment to completely eradicate the 18th Amendment, ending prohibition. Well, I do have a southern accent because I am in Dalton, Georgia, which is pretty extreme South Georgia. I mean, it's actually classified as Northwest Georgia, but it is a southern state. And to beat it all, Georgia was the last state that was needed to ratify the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution, which abolished slavery. That was in December of 1865, almost a year from the time when Congress passed the constitutional amendment, the 13th Amendment. Now, it took nearly a year for enough states to sign on to it and ratify that Constitution. Yet at the same time, it was 6 months and 13 days later when our federal troops had to go into certain areas and free slaves that was still being held in slavery even after the constitutional amendment was ratified and became law. You must understand that the Constitution is the law of the United States that supersedes all laws. Congress shall not pass and the state shall not pass or make any laws that infringes on our constitutional rights. Yet they continue to pass laws and ordinances and codes which takes away your rights because there is too many people that do not know that we have rights. There are too many people who do not want to have rights, who would rather let the government support them. EagleNick does not get food stamps. EagleNick does not draw any kind of government check, especially a mental check, even though I could possibly use one. You know, EagleNick does not have any income whatsoever except by getting out and picking up aluminum cans. And at 69 cents a pound, you would know that is probably maybe $20 worth of cans right here, maybe. But it took me 2 or 3 months to pick those up. Now, under President Trump, aluminum cans were $1.25 a pound. But as soon as Joe Biden was inaugurated, that January of 2020, aluminum cans went from $1.25 a pound down to 89 cents a pound. And then over the course of his term, they had dropped all the way down to 43 cents a pound. They have now climbed back up to an amazing 69 cents a pound, which is still nearly 50% less than they was under President Trump, whom the Democrats hate so much. Even to this day, you know, they burnt shit to the ground. They let people rob, loot, kill, and steal the 4 years that Donald Trump was president, and all those Democrats. It ain't cats or cans. That's less than 2 cents a can right now. Maybe just a little bit more. Maybe like 3 cents a can. I've never actually weighed them to see how many it takes to make a pound. You know, all I do is pick them up. But our government has been taking away our rights. The cats are right here. There's 2 orange ones. There's a little black and white one. There's 3 or 4 of them up there. I got 4 adult cats, 2 female, 2 males, and 6 kittens. They were all rescues that I found that would have died on the side of the road if I had left them there where somebody just dumped them like they were garbage. I did not want to let them die. I try my damnedest to keep them alive. I do my best to feed them. Well, I sure appreciate it. I loved my cats. Now, if you will look, I don't know if I have a picture on there anywhere on YouTube, but I did have a beautiful dog that her mother was a full-blooded Chihuahua and her daddy was a full-blooded Shih Tzu, and she was just gorgeous. Her name was Ginger. My wife passed away February the 19th, 2019, and that was real hard on me, but we had been June of 2019, and it was harder on me to have her put down because she was suffering than it actually was when my wife died, because, you know, I didn't see my wife every day no more. But my dog Ginger always stood behind me. She was always there when I come home from going out picking up cans, you know. I didn't take her out with me. Back then I had a vehicle, but I did not take her out with me because I didn't want nothing to happen to her. My truck broke down. And and she would get too hot and die. I tried my best to always take care of her because she was always there for me, because it truly is true what they say, that a dog is man's best friend. I really appreciate every one of my subscribers. I appreciate every one of y'all taking the time to watch this live stream, even though I'm out here in my yard actually showing grass and trees and cats. I was wanting to do my live stream down there at Al Rollins Park, but like I said, they cut off the public access down there because my last live stream from Al Rollins Park got 32,000 views. Now, when I was doing my live stream up at the Whitfield County Courthouse yesterday, when I went to go in Sheriff Scott Chitwood's office, they cut off the internet there. They caused an error in the video. It will not let me download the video. The video does not show up in my analytics. So I'm putting a link to that video in the comments of all my videos. I will be putting a link to that live stream in the comments of this live stream after it is uploaded, and I pray that everyone will check it out. I pray that you all have a blessed day. Stay safe in this heat. Make sure if you see anything going on that needs to be recorded, you record it. Do not let people harass or intimidate you. There is no expectation of privacy in public. Now, you cannot record like at Walmart because that is private property. But if you're standing out there by the road at the entrance to Walmart, you can record all day long because that is public access to public right-of-way. This is EagleNick Audits. I am EagleNick, and I'm out.